was riding by a Starbucks coffee shop, and I noticed at the drive-through window a man in a pickup truck placing his order. And sitting on his shoulder was a real-life spider monkey. Further down the road, a motorcyclist pulled up next to me at a red light. I looked over, and he was wearing a pair of flip-flops. I rode through some side streets, neighborhoods lined with overhanging canopy trees and nearby ponds. As I rode by one particular house, something caught my eye. It was a 5 to 6 foot alligator walking across the front yard, heading towards the backyard. I wasn't sure what the protocol was in these situations. Do I attempt to dodge the gator, run to the front porch and ring the bell to warn the homeowners? Or do I leave a note if it appeared nobody was home? Or do I simply assume that this is perfectly normal and expected here in Florida, and making an alarming issue over it would immediately deem me a clueless Floridian outsider? I gave out a few shouts to the homeowners. No response. It appeared as if nobody was home. So I left a note hanging off the mailbox. Gator in yard. And then I left. The further down the road I got, the more convinced I became that my rather pathetic gator in yard note would easily dislodge from the mailbox from the slightest of breeze. I imagined the homeowners would get home and immediately would let Tinkerbell, their miniature Maltese toy poodle mix, out the back door to relieve herself, only to be mauled by the gator. Naturally, this incident happened on whiskey night, and later that evening, the more the whiskey flowed, the more my mind came up with horrific and savage outcomes. Tinkerbell, the toy poodle, was merely an appetizer. 3-year-old Billy and his 5-year-old sister, Savannah, were the main course, while the father's left forearm would serve as dessert after a failed attempt at trying to rescue his children. Meanwhile, my pathetic note, insecurely fastened, now lies half a mile down the road, likely to be found by the local news crew, who would interview the neighbors. "Did you leave this note?" All the neighbors responding the same. "No, but if I did, I sure as hell would have secured it more securely. What was that asshole thinking?" My remorse for not securing my note more securely in order to warn the now half-deceased family of the gator in yard. Well, the guilt began to surprisingly wane and then altogether disappear. A greater sociological absurdity began to occupy my mind, a revelation of sorts. All these everyday Floridian frequent encounters with giant cockroaches, tiny lizards zipping by you everywhere you walk, monkeys going through coffee drive-thrus, 800 pounds of Harley Davidson between the legs of a flipped-flopped man, and of course, the prehistoric-looking creatures nonchalantly strolling through front yards like feral cats. This, I thought, this must be the underlining explanation for all the batshit crazy stories coming out of Florida and all the characters who shape this unique space of the globe. Modern life, mixed with the energy of the ancient, creating a human element of carefree chaos, of sun-blissed absurdity, of life live so naturally wild and crazy that the rest of the world just cannot relate.